They are the most powerful mages in Azeroth, guardians of arcane secrets, architects of floating cities, and sometimes pawns of the void. The Kirintor's history is far darker than you think, from their shocking origins to the countless possibilities Blizzard could have taken them. This is the story of Azeroth's secret police and their deep origins, with much deeper secrets. Founded 2,700 years ago after the Order of Tirisfal, secret mage guardians realized they needed a public organization to combat threats. Named after the Kirin, mythical beasts symbolizing great wisdom, and Tor for their tower. So, just to catch you up here on a few things, Elodie, the first guardian of the Council of Tirisfal, trained Aegwynn, who later birthed Medivh, which we will also cover in another video as that one is huge. Across every war that the Alliance had faced, the Kirin Tor was right there with their battle mages. Across the First War, the Second War, as well as even detective work in the Third War, they were the Alliance's magic users. And the forming of the Order occurred after the Troll Wars, during which the High Elves of Kel'Thalas taught 100 humans how to wield the magic. In fact, the alliance between the humans and the High Elves were so strong due to the forming of the Kirin Tor. Now, the floating city of Dalaran was built as a mage haven and a vault for the Kirin Tor's secrets, as well as their greatest prisoners, such as Kel'Thas. But very important, we will get to that later. So the mages were there, recklessly using their magic however they pleased within their city walls, until one day it attracted the Burning Legion. Demon Lord Archimonde ordered the attack on Dalaran in order to procure the final Book of Medivh, the last spellbook Medivh had written and protected by the Kirin Tor. Now this attack also included the first Death Knight Arthas, and their main goal was to have the Lich Kel'Thuzad read the book and basically fully use its power to be able to summon the demons into Azeroth. And so it was, Dalaran did fall, the mages eventually faltering, and you'll find in classic WoW that big purple, pink, shimmering circle around where Dalaran used to be, while it's being repaired. A few years pass and Dalaran is rebuilt and ported to Crystal Song Forest in Wrath of the Lich King as a floating city, now led by Ronin, who, by the way, could have an entire video dedicated to him, as he is not just the guy that yells in Dalaran after someone has killed Algalon. He even assisted in the War of the Ancients. They were our hub city and main frontier while we killed Arthas. Now, we fast forward a little bit here, back into the Legion side of things. Khadgar has taken charge, and Aegwynn, yes, the Aegwynn, returned to warn of the Legion infiltration. And they once again provided a new front line in order to aid Suramar, as well as battle back the Legion while they were assaulting the Broken Isles. Now, some cut content hints at them being in a much darker place than we realize. Though there are some pieces that are already in the lore that kind of make them a little bit questionable, such as the arcane implementation of necromancy, which could have even been a class in World of Warcraft had they have pursued that and made it a little bit more prominent in the story. But that use of necromancy was locked away in the vaults of Dalaran. Speaking of which, the Dalaran's Black Archives, which was found in the Legion Alpha, a hidden wing beneath the Violet Hold. Now, this is even found in-game. According to Wowhead, In the Hunter Artifact Weapon quest, you can find an underground cavern inside the Violet Hold itself, with a kind of a shattered floor, as you can see on this post here. Unfortunately, I couldn't get the footage for this due to a few limitations on my side, but if you are able to go and do the Hunter Artifact quest, you're able to find an instanced version of Violet Hold where you can enter and go below. And lore-wise, this makes complete sense, because Warcraft 3, Blizzard demonstrates there is much more to the Violet Hold, the grand prison complex of Dalaran, with many layers and levels, and Kel'Thas at the very bottom. Though we don't see this in the MMORPG, the Violet Hold is also built on top of a ley line, and if the prison really does go that deep, what were they using that power for? What's even crazier is the crater left in Wrath could have had a dungeon in the Remnants, where the prison was obviously much deeper in Warcraft 3 than we realize in game. We could have had an extra dungeon there of Dalaran's prison labyrinth, you know, the remainder of what was left behind when the city was ported. Though I'm sure reflecting that in the world would have been much more difficult, as you would have had a hanging hole at the bottom of the floating city, which from a defensive point of view probably wouldn't have been great. But oh my, what an absolutely awesome concept that could have been, where in Wrath maybe we went back, or possibly even just an extra raid. You know, TOC was a very quiet content time while they focused on ICC. We could have entered into the Dalaran crater, we could have entered into the prison there, and cleaned out what was left when they ported. Now, there was another questline that was cut during Wrath named the Violet Purge, a questline where Kirin Tor assassins hunted rogue mages, including Medivh's disciples, who picked up and worshipped him after his great feats. There was a deleted NPC named Inquisitor Valen, who tortured suspects with draining mana runes. Now, this isn't the first time we've seen the Kirin Tor torture, as there's a quest in Borean Tundra where we assist in torturing one of the combatants around the Amber Lodge in order to gain more information. Which, if you haven't been there in quite some time, Blizzard have now rewritten, where you're practically just tickling them to get information. So it was quite interesting there. Blizzard deemed that too dark. Now, for the future of the Kirin Tor, in Dragonflight's role, obviously they're now led by Caligos, focusing on that Titan and Arcane research, potentially tying the Tierhold vaults, which has not been explored yet, especially under the breadth of the Kirin Tor. And fun fact, Eldorus, which is Tierhold, as a name for a Titan facility, was first mentioned in BFA by the Maiden of Vitality, specifically about being breached and corrupted by N'Zoth. But this is never revisited in the future, or the lore, or anything like that. So maybe the Kirin Tor will discover something. But one of the biggest questions I have in retail is, why did the Kirin Tor ignore the Void for so long? One of the theories that kind of floated around was that they actually knew about Xal'atath's dagger, but hid it. But sure, the Kirin Tor will always be Azeroth's necessary evil. They rewrite history, bury truths, and call it for the greater good. But in a world of Void Lords and Titan secrets, maybe we need mages ruthless enough to guard the Abyss. Just never turn your back on them. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate all of the support we've got. Oh my days, at 650 subscribers already. We are growing by the video. This is absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. So in the near future, I'm going to be switching to a Tuesday, Saturday upload schedule. That way I can leave the Tuesday one for a fun video, sort of like small things that can't really do a full sort of like big deep dive, just some cool tidbit cut lore kind of pieces. And then for the Saturday ones, we'll do some really big kind of deep dive, proper long form videos, just like the Turtle Wow video and the Pandaren video, sort of content like that. Because I would really like to bring the best content to this channel because it's the content you guys deserve at the quality you deserve. Because you guys have been amazing and thank you so much. Have a lovely day. Thank you.